And DeRulle is going to be talking about self-kinesiology, how to and when to. Anne is the founder of Life Changes Unlimited and a developer of the exclusive Quantum Solutions personal empowerment process. Please help me welcome Anne DeRulle.
Thank you, Sheryl, and thank all of you for being here today. I want to let you know it's my intention to make your time here well worthwhile. So while many of you may be familiar with kinesiology to varying degrees, I'm going to cover a lot of information for those who are not familiar with it and just really try to hit the high spots and give you a good overview. So I'd like to start out by asking you, how many of you would like to know which supplements, vitamins, minerals, and herbs that you really should be taking and which ones to buy? Let's have a show of hands. Yeah. And how many of you also would like to be able to make decisions on a lot of matters in your everyday life easier and quicker? Yeah. Well, I want to welcome you to my talk called Self-Kinesiology, How to and When to, and we will answer a lot of those questions during the process of this talk, and we'll also give you a lot more information too. My name is Anne DeRulle. My business is Life Changes Unlimited, and today I'm going to give you information to cover kind of the gamut of all of this, and in the interest of time, I'm going to bypass giving you an introduction to myself as well as a bio. I've got handouts that are there for you that you can take with you where you can learn more about my background and what qualifies me to be talking about this. So today what we're going to do is provide a brief overview. Then we'll get into some demonstrations. This will be interactive where some of you can come up front. Let's see if this will work better. Does that work? Okay. All right. Where some of you can come up front, we'll do some demonstrations with the kinesiology, and then I'll show you how to, a couple of different ways to do it, and the whole group I will teach you how to do a couple of different easy ways. And then we will get into applications and when to use it and how you can use it in your everyday life, whether for personal or business reasons. And then I'll get into some of the pitfalls, some things to watch out for and to be sure to do and to be sure not to do with it. Okay, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll have questions and answers if there's time. And I have a surprise for you and something really kind of fun in the conclusion. All right? So getting started. Kinesiology, what is it? For those of you who are not familiar with it, it's a non-invasive way to assess and interact with your body in such a way as to know what's going on the inside. We can access your subconscious, which runs the vast majority of your life, so we can tell what kinds of foods, supplements that are going to be best for your body. And in the work that I do, in my transformational healing and empowerment work that I do, I use it to identify and access the mental, emotional, and spiritual issues that can underlie your physical and all of your other issues in your life. So, what's it about? Well, going back, our body's intelligence is not just up here in our head, in our brain, as some of you may know. We're living a universe that is all made of energy that Einstein taught us about years ago. And he also taught us that all energy has consciousness. So our body's intelligence is stored throughout our body at the cellular level, at the level of energy. So it knows all of the subconscious stuff going on, whether it's our beliefs, the old traumas, the emotions, whatever we're resonating with in any way, and we can access that. So how is this possible that we can access this information? What we can do is set up a communication system with your body by the ability of your muscles to either be tense or relaxed, to be strong or to be weak. And with that, why don't we go ahead and get into several different demonstrations with this, and I'll ask for volunteers to come up front and we can have some fun with that. How's that? Anybody want to have some fun with this? Let's go. All right. So how many of you would like to come up here and try this for the first time? How about right here in front? Want to come on this side? Thank you. And the people that come up front, if you're okay in holding your left arm out to the side like this, you okay? You know, if you got a bad shoulder, let's pass on this today. Well, let's get this guy out of the way. No, just step up here where I can get to your arm. That's fine. And what is your name?
My name is Bill.
Hi, Bill. Let's welcome Bill here today. So thank you. Now, if you'll just rest your arm. What we're going to do is set up that communication system with his body. And while I'm at it, in the interest of time, let's just ask your all's bodies to accept these same instructions if that's okay with you. What we're going to do, we're going to ask him just to hold his arm up in such a way that if I press on it lightly, it will stay there. But we're not going to get into a muscle contest, okay? So we're going to tell your body that when you say something that you resonate with, or if it gives you energy, it's positive, it's a yes, it's an on, that when I press on your arm, it's just going to remain taut, okay, and stay there. So let's try it, and if you'll say, my name is Bill.
My name is Bill.
Okay, and he's pretty strong there, okay? Now let's let it relax, and we're going to tell his body that when he says something that he does not resonate with, or if it's life-depleting to him, it's an off or a no, that when he says that and I press on his arm, it's just going to go weak and drop, okay? So let's try this, and if you will say, I am a woman. See? Okay? You're not, so that's our test. Okay, you were not resonating with it. It did not give you energy, and so you went weak on that, okay? And that's a good way to test whether our muscle checker is working for us. We've got to be hydrated, principally, for our muscle checker to work. So you want to try that again, just real quick, get a feel. So if you'll just say my name, and we don't have eye contact when we do this, so excuse me for not looking at you. But if you'll say, my name is Bill.
My name is Bill.
All right, and he's strong, and say, I am a woman.
I am a woman.
Okay. All right. So it's real obvious. Okay. Rest your arm. So let's do another little demonstration with this, if you like. How about everybody in the audience? Why don't you cross your arms and legs, and let's just see if this has any effect on his energy field. Okay. And let's try this. Well, look at this. He's pretty darn weak. All right. Now let's uncross and see if this has any effect on his energy field. And he's strong now. Okay? Kind of interesting, huh? Just a demonstration how at the subconscious level our body gets it all. Consciously it might bypass us, but our body knows what's going on and it can tell us what's going on with this communication system. So Bill, thank you for the demonstration. Let's give him a nice round. Okay. And who would like to come up next? How many of you? Okay. And what is your name?
Dean.
Dean. Let's check and make sure your muscle checker is on with the first questions like I asked him. So if you'll just say, my name is Dean.
My name is Dean.
Okay, and he's real strong. And if you'll say, I am a woman.
I am a woman.
Feel that difference? Okay. So let's try something else. Rest your arm. Is there a chance in the last week or two that you might have had a negative thought?
Yes.
Okay. Well, why don't you conjure one up, pull one up, or make one up. You don't have to tell me what it is, but let me know when you've got it, and we'll just muscle check your energy field and see if that has any effect on you. Okay, so you're holding a negative thought, and we're going to check here. Well, by golly, he's weak. Fancy that. All right, rest your arm. Now, how about pulling up a positive thought, and then let's check you for that. Okay. I could do a chin up on that arm. Okay. So this is really strong. Thank you. So again, just demonstrating that our body gets it all. And don't you know for yourself, you've been around people who are negative, and what happens to your energy? It drains you too. Or our own negative thoughts drain our energy. When people are depressed, they get in that downward spiral of lower and lower energy, you know. So kind of interesting, huh? Let's thank Dean for helping us out up here. Thank you, Dean. So how many of you all would, okay, obviously this took the two of us to muscle check like that, but how many of you all would like to do this, be able to do this for yourselves? Show of hands. Okay, so here we go. I can tell you there are quite a number of ways to do this. I run into people all the time who are telling me more ways that I've never heard of. But I will tell you a few of the common ones, and then I'm going to teach you two of the easiest ones that I'm aware of, okay? So I'll just kind of tell you and show you some at first, but I won't explain them fully because we're going to get to the easy ones for you. But you may have seen people, and I don't know how to do this with a microphone, who loop two of their fingers and interlock them like this, a muscle check like that. And that's one way some people do it. But it takes two hands to do it. And if you're in a store or somewhere and you want to check something out or where you don't want to be obvious, it's a little bit tough, particularly if you're carrying other sacks or groceries or purses or your water or whatnot, you know. So, and another way is that I originally learned in the first transformational process that I took was a matter of pressing on my finger to substitute for the arm. And when I press on it, if it's something that's positive or a yes, then that finger just stays up. But if it's a negative or a no response or an off, then when I press on that finger, it'll go weak, and it takes the rest of my fingers down with it. But I can tell you, it took me quite some time to get adept at that. It takes a little while, so I'm going to teach you an easier method than that. And then other ways, I've had somebody even talk about the fact that you can rub like your index finger over your thumbnail in one direction, and it'll be kind of rough and bumpy, and that'll be one response, and you go the other way and it'll be smooth, and maybe that's your positive response. So there can be just real subtle things, you know. And also, seems like, another way you can muscle check yourself is like press a hand or a wrist or an arm up against a high chair or a counter or a cabinet or something, and if it stays there firm and taut, then you've got an on or yes response, and if it falls away like the muscle goes weak, then that would be an off or a no. However you choose to do it, you need to kind of set it up once like I did with you all. Tell your body what you want it to do with the particular kind of responses. But again, that's kind of awkward and it's kind of hard to tell. So what I want to teach you is two easy ways to do this that you can do anywhere, anytime, any place, and be unobtrusive about it, okay? So the first one is a standing one. If everybody would like to stand. And what this is about, I'll just give some instructions out here. We're going to tell our bodies that when we say something that we resonate with, or if it's a yes answer or an on, or it's life enhancing for us, that our body's just going to lean forward some, okay? And just show it. Just lean forward. Show your body what we're talking about there, okay? And we're going to tell our body then likewise on the opposite side that if we say something that is life depleting or negative or it's a no or an off, that our body will just lean back like that, okay? So let's try it, everybody. Why don't you, like I did with Bill and with Dean, say, my name is so-and-so, fill in the blank, and allow your body to do what it wants to do, okay? It looks like I see a lot of people leaning forward. Now, if it's not working for you, it could be several things, but most generally that you need to drink water. Sometimes we've got a lot of stuff going on in our head that doesn't allow us to let go of control. We're trying to control it, or we're doubting it, or we're skeptical, or we're wondering, is this really going to work, or am I making this happen? But just try to let it happen, and it'll happen, okay? And so the other thing is, now let's try the opposite. Why don't you say, I am a man or a woman. Say the opposite, that you are not, for a no response. Okay? So you want to try that? So for me, I'll say, I am a man. And my body leans back. So y'all trying that? Okay? Do y'all want to go through it again one more time on the positive? Something that you know is positive. Your name is a real easy one. Okay? And I am wonderful, even. And you may not be fully resonating with that. You might go back. I don't know. But whatever you choose. But this is something you can play with. I think everybody gets the idea, okay? So, then y'all can sit down. Thank you. Very good. And if it's not working for you, again, drink water, because it could be that your muscle checker's not working. And you've got to be hydrated for these to work for you, okay? So the other one would be, with your fingers. This is a much easier one. How about we tell your bodies that when you say something that you resonate with, and normally I would just do this down here or out here, okay, however you see it, but I'm going to hold it up here where you can see me right now. Tell your body that when you say something that you resonate with, or it's a positive, it's a yes, it's an on, that these fingers are just going to stay together, just like this, okay? And when you say something that you don't resonate with, or if it's life depleting, or if it takes energy away from you, that your index finger is just going to fly up. So do that. Make it go up. Show your body what you mean. Okay? Just make it fly up. Is that easy enough for everybody? Okay? All right. So then let's try it. Do the test. Say, my name is so-and-so. And those fingers should stay together. and I'm a man or I'm a woman, and that finger should fly off. Okay? I see a lot of fingers flying off. If you want to try that a couple of times, play with that. Okay, but that's a real easy way. And if it's not working, like I said, generally it's that you need to drink more water. Okay? Now, in asking about these things, what I would recommend that you do is always ask the questions in terms of a question rather than an affirming statement. You know, our words have a lot of power. So if you were to say, your muscle checker was working, you're really on, but you said, I am off, that would be enough to throw you off, so your muscle checker wouldn't work. So I'd highly recommend always ask a question like, am I on? Am I off? You know, I am a man. My name is so-and-so. Which of these supplements is in the highest and best good that I take? Is there one of these that's in my highest and best good to take? And if so, which one or how many? You know, and then you can narrow it down to a dosage on one and say, okay, now how many of these should I take a day and how many times a day? Like 2 or 3 times a day and take 2 each time. So you can narrow things down like that. The other thing is you don't always have to ask the questions out loud. You can ask them silently and your body will get it and it'll give you the answer. But you're addressing your subconscious as well as your body's highest wisdom is where those answers are coming from. Now, when to do it? I just now intimated that you can do this with your supplements, vitamins, minerals, any kind of herbs, remedies, whatever, anything you're going to put into your body. You can also do it in checking your foods to see if you've got allergies or sensitivities to certain foods. Are they life-enhancing for you or life-depleting? You can also, for instance, like you're in a restaurant. How many of you has this happened to? You're in a restaurant and there's 3 or 4 things on the menu you want and you can't decide. And you, oh darn, what do I? Well, just check your body. Which one of those does it want? You know, I've done that sometimes in restaurants. Another thing is other ways you can apply it. I call it digital versus analog, kind of in electronic terminology. But like you can use it for a yes or no response, just like a light switch when you turn it on or off. Or you can fine-tune it further and do it like a rheostat on a light switch where you've got different scales, you know, with a dimmer. So that would be an analog equivalent so that you can ask questions like and get percentage answers on something or ask questions that would relate to a 0 to 10 scale. So like, okay, this is life enhancing for me, but if I'm on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the best, how life enhancing is it for me? Is it above a 5? Is it a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? And I've gotten myself in a situation where I've been checking out a lot of new supplements to take, and I've been taking some already, and it's a question of, well, golly, there's a bunch of them that are life-enhancing for me, and I found out some that I was taking were just neutral, weren't really doing me any good. So that's another thing you might want to check, is see if what you're already taking is really life-enhancing for you, or if it's neutral, maybe even life-depleting, or if you have a sensitivity or an allergy to it. And then, so what I did was I lined out all the ones that were life-enhancing for me, and then I put them on a scale. Well, how life-enhancing is it? Is it a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 for me? So I ended up with a lot of 7s and 8s, maybe 1 or 2 9s and 1 10. So I asked the question, okay, above what number should I be taking these? And I got like 8 or above. And then, so say I have a half a dozen of those, then you want to go back and check. While each one individually could be good for you, you might need to check the combination and see if the combination is good for you. You might need to pull something back out of that because the combination wouldn't be right for you. Okay? The other things that I use it for, and I use it all the time in my personal and business life, you can use it, well, for us women particularly, but I think men could use it this way too. But how many times do you go to your closet, oh, what to wear today? And maybe there's 2 or 3 things that you kind of can't decide between. And so I'll just muscle check, well, which is optimal for me today? You know, all colors carry different frequencies. So some of them feed us differently than others do, and sometimes we have a greater need for one color than another. So I muscle checked this today. I normally wear purple, but I was guided through my muscle checking to wear this blue today. So, thank you. Right. I also use it in traffic situations, like when I'm going to be heading across town somewhere, and there's a number of different ways I could drive there. I will muscle check to say, okay, which is going to be the fastest route? And honest to goodness, when I've muscle checked how to go, sometimes it has showed me shortcuts I wouldn't have thought of. I've also avoided detours that, I would not have thought were possible to be there. So it's really been neat. Yes.
What exactly are you doing at 60 miles an hour?
Well, I can do with one hand, with the finger. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. I'm not standing up and leaning forward, that's for sure. Then also, whether it's business or excuse me, personal life, use it to make decisions. If you're kind of torn or undecided or kind of grappling with which way to go on something, then use it for that. It's really great. I would just encourage you always, though, to make sure that your muscle checker is working, that you're on, okay? And that's back to my name is so-and-so, I'm a man or I'm a woman, something real obvious where you know the answer, so you know if it's giving you the right answer or not, okay? So, given that, there's any myriad a number of ways you could use this. It's almost infinite, but not totally. And I'll get into some of that, too. As we get into some of the pitfalls. So I would just encourage you, play around with it, have fun with it. And let's get on into the pitfalls. Again, my first warning is just always to make sure you're on. I just came back from a trip to Houston where I met a gal there who does some muscle checking, and 2 other people told me to watch out. She does a lot of muscle checking, but she gives you contradictory answers, and so don't trust her. Well, she doesn't check to see if she's on, and I don't think any of us want to be in that mode, okay? So when I got with her, I was getting some contradictory answers from her. So, are you on? Check to see if you're on, would you? And sure enough, she wasn't. So that needs to be upmost in our minds, I think. Another thing that can throw you off, and I'll just say this, most often, like 98% of the time, is that you need to drink water to get your muscle checker working. But another thing is if you need to go to the restroom, that can also throw you off. So another thing is it's highly recommended, and absolutely do not use muscle checking to diagnose illness or disease. Sometimes this can be we're checking basically the same as left arm resonance, which is your right brain resonance associated with that. And somebody in that mode can be really not resonating with a bad disease that they've got, and vice versa. So just don't even go there. I'd highly recommend not doing that. And also I'd recommend not muscle checking the future, trying to predict the future with muscle checking. I found that one out the hard way. And after I found that out the hard way, I had other people tell me and read in places where don't use it for the future. It's really for about what is and past kinds of things. But I've used it for all kinds of weird applications. I was going to meet a girl at a movie one night, and I thought she was ahead of me. We were in separate cars, and I couldn't find her in the theater, and I finally gave up, and I thought, is she here or not? So I went out, and through muscle checking, I was able to find her car in the parking lot, like which row was it on, and how far and whatnot. So it's real interesting. And sometimes you can find lost items in your house, or whatever. So another thing is if you're muscle checking something that you're pretty emotionally involved in or pretty emotionally attached to, you can get in the way of getting an accurate answer, of allowing your body to come through with its own answers. Our conscious mind can take over there, and we can force our body to give us, even though we think we're not trying to, force our body to give us an answer that we don't want. So I'd highly recommend that you be real extra careful in those situations where you think you're emotionally invested. And also, something you can do for that, though, if you're really in a quandary, is have somebody else who muscle check that for you to get a more objective opinion, somebody who else is not emotionally involved in the answer. Or another thing you can do then, even if they know you too well and you're afraid they might get involved in it, is ask them the question silently and then tell them, okay, I've asked the question, and then have them muscle check so that their conscious mind can't get in the way. Okay? And another thing about it, too, is that we all know that answers that we get to any question are only as good as the question was to begin with. And our mind and our body takes everything very literally, so we really need to be precise and careful in what we're asking. Okay. And the other thing would be if you're muscle checking that's on something that's really kind of critical to you, or a big movement, or a big change in direction, or but some big career decision or something, I would just say double check, come back later and double check again that your muscle checker's working, and if you need to, muscle check that through somebody else. So basically, in summary, I've covered a little bit of an overview about muscle checking, how to muscle check, ways you can use it every day, some of the pitfalls and things to watch out for. And on the handout that I have in the chairs, there's some further reading if you want to delve into the subject some more. So in conclusion, I would recommend that everybody, those of you who want to get adept at this, practice it for a week or two. And if you're having problems with it, or if you're having problems in trusting it like I did at the beginning, give me a call and I'll help you through it. I'll be glad to. And also, if you know of anyone who would like to make some profound positive changes in their lives, or in the quality of their lives, I offer private consultations, economical group growth shops. In fact, next Thursday I will be doing a group growth shop on pulling out the stops on financial abundance. The work that I do is some very leading edge and breakthrough personal empowerment processes and healing processes. And I also give beneficial demonstrations for groups where everybody who attends can benefit. And I also, in addition to that work, I detoxify hazardous energies in homes, offices, and cars, including computers and your cell phones, so that we can make those energies be beneficial and life-enhancing for you and positive. And I also create transformative and healing art that can be customized for individuals and their environments, if you know of anybody who would be interested in that. So I'd like to do one more demonstration real quick here as we wrap up. Who else would like to come up front? This would be somebody who would be game for us to exchange a hug. And we've got 1.5 minutes left, so somebody real quick. Okay, come on. Thank you. This will be a surprise to most people, I think. I'm trying to start a new fad with this. Can I just check your arm, and what is your name? Bianca. Bianca? So if you'll say, my name is Bianca. Okay, and say, I'm a man. Okay, big difference there. So let's hug one another and see if this has an effect on our energy field, okay? Now, let's check her arm, and she's weak. And that's the way we normally hug. Now, hugging on the other side that feels real awkward. Look at this, she's strong. It's because we're heart to heart. Thank you, Bianca. Yeah, it's heart to heart. It's life enhancing. It gives us energy. So with that, I want to start a new fad. Isn't it amazing to find out that the way we normally hug people, we're draining our energy and theirs. So if we hug on the other side, we can be giving energy. Yes? Just the way we normally do on the left side. The way most people normally do. So, well, I have a hard time telling you. I have to do it. So, yeah, come on. Okay. So this is the way we normally hug. On this side.
On the left side.
We go
Right.
to the left.
Right.
Left of the head.
And here's the right way. Well, here's the way that's life enhancing
The
for
right way
us.
goes to the right of the head.
Yeah, heart to heart. Okay? So before you leave, I've got a registration box over here if anybody would be interested in a free life-changing private consultation with me. This would be worth a $100 value. Drop your business card in, or there's some cards there if you don't have your business cards. Fill in your name, email, and phone number, and I'll get back in touch with the lucky winner. And given that, that's it for today, but why don't you consider practicing some of this before you leave? Hug 1, 2, or 3 people around you and practice it that new way. How's that? Okay.